Welcome to Pure Powerhouse America! Because for 80 points in the Apex All-Star Series, yes, not Season Reward, this is a Series Reward, pretty cool, but for 80 points you get the Summit Racing Pro Stock Camaro. Camaro? Oh, I don't know. This thing is an absolute monster because not only is it rear-wheel drive, it is 1,400 brake horsepower, 800 foot-pounds of torque, and is only weighing 2,355 pounds with an 8.2 litre engine. Now, despite the fact that it says Camaro, there is nothing Camaro-esque about this car aside from pretty much the botched front end and, well, about the badge, I think. But we do also have a wheelie bar at the back and a massive twin parachute. Going to the inside, I can't see anything out of this window, can't see anything out of that window. All we can see is a slight portion of our driver's window and directly ahead of us. But now let's go ahead and launch this thing. Oh dear. So here we are now over in the upgrade shop. We don't have many options to choose from. We've got conversion, which means of course, drivetrain swaps and aspiration. And then if you put in some twin turbos, you go from 1,400 up to 1,000, and I think it's 1,687. And if I remember rightly, if we go all the way over to now engine upgrades, and we go and slap in the good old, well, we're going to go with anti-lag because it looks cool, and we slap in the intercooler. We're now 1,806 horsepower. May I remind you, the weight of this thing is just a shade under 2,460 pounds with the upgrades added, which to be honest is actually kind of insane, but we're going to leave it stock for now just so I have some attempt at trying to drive this thing. As for tyres, this thing comes stock on some cool Goodyear sort of racing tyres, but we can go ahead and slap on some semi-slicks as well, which I'm going to try and do because I've got one aim with this thing, and that is to try and do what the Forza staff couldn't do on the official live stream and make a lap of the Horizon Mexico circuit. But obviously I'm going to try and do it in free roam, because if I tried to do it in an actual race, I think I would be a bit done for. So here we're now over in the paint shop, going to advanced, surprise, surprise, we've got nothing, and going over to manufacturer colours, we only have the one, but we can go ahead and put it in pretty much any colour that we want to, including a bright pink, just because, well, we can. So for our Horizon Mexico circuit, we're of course doing this in free roam, but let's go ahead and see, can we actually try and make a lap of this thing? I put semi-slicks on it in the vague hope of actually trying to steer this thing, because stock this thing has absolutely zero steering angle, because, well, it's on drag slicks, so of course it wouldn't. But let's try and go ahead and see if we can survive trying to drive around here with 1,400 brake horsepower. Now, I tried looking up some facts about this thing, but seeing as everybody's jumped onto the trend of making YouTube videos about this car, that is all you can find at the moment, is this car in Forza Horizon 5. As far as I can tell, I can't find any videos right now, or footage even, of this number 3 car competing. But honestly, I'm going to assume it's done pretty well. Now, I am more of a drifter, I don't know much about the drag racing community, but if you happen to know any facts about this thing, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Also, back there where we went off is the exact reason that I'm not using this in the actual decent race, because we would stand a zero chance. And we go out of a speed zone at 96 and a little bit drifty. Okay, maybe that was an understatement. It's big drifty, brake! Oh, hello plane. And then we keep going, so we've got to still try and go ahead and get to our finish line, even though, we're racing nobody, but probably ourselves. Oh god, please brake! I can say this is going to be a very interesting video, because we are jumping straight back to the upgrade shop, and we are throwing on these stock Goodyear hyper slick tyres. They're not exactly, semi-slick or drag slicks, they are hyper slick on this thing. Should we make this thing all wheel? No, I don't think it's worth it. We're going to go ahead and also make this thing turboed, because, well, turbos are cool. And we're also going to go ahead and, like we did earlier, upgrade those with the race intercooler to make our 1,800 brake horsepower monster. We are going anti-lag because we can, and honestly because, just listen to this. Honestly, you can barely hear the anti-lag over the engine of this thing. It is so loud. But I think we'll go with a 4-speed transmission. And for a differential, we will go with, I'd say, a rally diff. And really, that's about all the upgrades we can do to this thing. So we're now sat at 1,806 brake horsepower with 2,454 pounds in weight for only 14,900 credits. So it's a really cheap upgrade. Well, really cheap unless you want to buy another one of these off the auction house. Now, the fun thing is, I've got to sit here and attempt to try and tune this thing, because if you look at the chart, it says it can do an estimated 400. Which I heavily doubt, but we're going to try and get as close as we can to that, because I just want to see if it will. Honestly, it's going to be very, very interesting indeed. So I'm going to go ahead and continue tuning this, and I'll be right back. So here we are now outside of the Horizon Festival, try and get a wheelie check on this thing, and we do actually get a little bit, although it's not as much as some of Mac's tunes have made in the past, but it's still a little bit. That counts, right? In the meantime, here we are over at the edge of the drag strip, so we got ourselves on launch control. There's no one around us, which is a bit of a shame, because I did want to drag race someone, but away we go with this thing. We're up to 100 before we barely left the line. That's up to 180, there's 200, this thing is actually insane, that's 250, that's 260 through the camera, and off the end of the drag strip at 282. Okay, not gonna lie, I'm a bit very much lost for words, like severely lost for words. What do I say? This thing is stupid fast, but it could be faster. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go over to our gearboxes and I'm gonna swap out the 4-speed for a 6-speed. Everything else is gonna stay the same, but I'm just intrigued to see what difference changing the gearing is gonna make to this thing. So adios to this gear tuning and hello to the new one. Now out of intrigue, we're going to do that drag run again just to see where this thing falls, because honestly it is very, very quick and I want to see what the gear tuning has done to this thing. I'm going to try and beat 260. We got slower? We got 1 mile an hour slower. Oh, that is not good. Evidently now to the brakes. In the meantime, we're over at the edge of the motorway for what might be potentially my stupidest idea yet. We're going to go ahead and get a little bit of a top speed runner. So away we go. This thing is going to be absolutely stupid quick. I just know it. Turn, please turn, please turn, please turn, please turn, please turn, please turn. Oh my, come on. 282 through the speed zone. I don't know how we managed that, to be honest. What I do know is we've still got a little bit to go. So let's keep going, shall we? And through the camera at 285, going downhill 286, 287, and that is all it wants to do, because this thing is actually starting to feel like it wants to pull off to the side, which is actually kind of nuts. I've not had a car feel like that for a very, very, very long time. In fact, the last one that did that was, I believe, an old Ford wood-panelled van. Well, it's not loading at the moment for some reason, but it's this one right here. Which, to be honest, probably means I'm going to have to restart my game again. But oh well, let's go ahead and move on to the next bit and quickly. In the meantime, let's go ahead and jump over to conversion. We'll also go ahead and go over to all-wheel drive, because we're going to need it for this bit. We've also changed our tyres over to some good old-fashioned Horizon semi-slick racing tyres, because we're going to need them, because what I want to try and do is make this thing drift. Yes, especially with 1,800 brake horsepower. This is either going to go great or terrible. To be honest, if I get even 1 point out of this thing, I think I'm going to be very, very intrigued, but also very happy. So let's go ahead and throw this thing in here, try and keep it as sideways as we can. This thing really doesn't like being sideways at all. It loves going in a straight line, but there's 38,683 points on the first run, and I don't even know what we're going to get on the second run. Not every day you see a pro stock car drifting now, is it? Alright, back the other way we go. We've got to try and avoid the bridge. We are very, very sideways indeed. That sideways, it wasn't even registering our points for a second. And yeah, we did end up clouting the bridge anyway, but out the other side at 33,351 points, which is still, I don't know, it's not too bad, but definitely could be better. Although then again, like I said, I'm drifting a pro stock drag car, so I'm surprised I got anything. In the meantime, that is a video on this thing. I don't know what else to do with it, apart from probably take it into Rivals. So if you want to see a video where I take this thing into Rivals, go ahead and let me know in the comments. In the meantime, thank you very, very much for watching. I'll go ahead and see you all in the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe, tech out. See ya. Okay, time to make this thing a Rivals machine.